Hey, welcome back. Scout Solo here. I am at the junction of the Wind River Highway and Forest Service Road 90. 32 miles south of me is Highway 14, and just before there is Carson, Washington. In this video I will give you some reviews of the Lewis River Falls campgrounds and see how it goes. Welcome to Northwest Quest Moto. Join me, Scout Solo. Everything's fine, here we go. As I ride the mighty Chautauqua and venture into the scenic mountains and coastal regions. Oh shit! Here in the Pacific Northwest. Along the way we'll learn about photography, camping, motorcycling, where we're going how to get there, welcome to general tomfoolery, and all this. I've been drinking it, I ain't dead yet. I just hope I don't look like a noob and drop this thing. If you find this video entertaining, or not entertaining, but you want to watch it again for some reason, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content, or don't want to see more content, but you are a masochist, please subscribe. There are picnic tables just out of screen here. Anybody back there looking at us like we're crazy? Check the tide. Accordingly, if you have friends who may enjoy this video, or friends who may not enjoy this video, but you are a misanthrope, please share it with them, as any support will help this tiny little channel grow. Hopefully I don't look like a fool. We're going live. As we approach adventure season, I'll release new content with increasing frequency. I'll review some of the best rides and routes right here in the Pacific Northwest, various campsites, some of the gear I'll be using, and even some pubs and breweries along the way. Things are good. We'll meet some interesting people, some not so interesting people. Attempt to ascertain the meaning of life. Standing a little weird sometimes, but... and see some cool stuff. I'm Scout Solo. Enjoy the video. "10 miles east of here is the Lewis River Falls, with at least two campgrounds that I'm aware of, Upper and Lower Lewis River Falls. It's worth noting the Upper Falls campground is first come, first served basis. Lower Falls is by reservation only. I believe you can book 5 months out in advance. And again, back to Forest Road 90. About 30 or so miles to the west, you're going to have Cougar, Washington. The road up there is a bit more perilous, in my experience, than the Wind River Highway. This road, Forest Service Road, has washed out a few times. And being that I'm moto camping on the mighty Chautauqua here, I'm sticking to the Wind River Highway. It's also worth noting there are at least two campgrounds that way, pretty close to Carson, Washington. Beaver Creek and something to the effect of Paradise Creek. If you're looking for something a little less remote, that's an option for you here in Southwest Washington in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. And yeah, so Carson, Washington, Highway 14 is that way. And it is gorgeous out here. That is a nice ride for the moto campers as well. And you have Forest Road 90. That way is going to be your Lewis River Falls campground. I've never been east of there, so 10 miles east of there. The pavement does end for a while, and it gets a little choppy, but if I can do it in this cruiser, it shouldn't be a challenge for some of you. But tread... Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Anyways, okay, we're going to hit the road. Cheers. So I just arrived in camp. There's Chautauqua, and if it weren't for my labored breathing, you could hear the river. So I'm going to pitch a tent, gather some wood, and first things first, I'm going to have a beer. Cheers. Here we have the falls. They are impressive, to say the least. the falls that I found last night, I don't know which of the three they were. Evidently there's an upper, middle, and lower falls on the Lewis River. Another stairs access here, going who knows where. Northwest. This is the place to be. That's what it's all about, eh? Aha! Here's a clue. Lower falls. Look at that. Holy smokes. I should have brought an ND filter. I wasn't expecting the sun this morning. But hopefully you're not too blinded. Lewis River Falls, some 10 miles up Forest Road 90 east of, oh boy, the Wind River Highway Cougar Ariel Washington loop. I'd say we're 30 plus miles north of Carson, Washington, and perhaps 40 miles east of Cougar. Cougar is a very tiny little camp town. They have, I believe, 2 gas stations. They're old-timey though. They don't have credit cards on the outside. They're not 24 hours type. And they keep banker's hours, my best guess. So fuel up, especially if you're on a motorbike. Fuel up in Carson or Cougar, but plan accordingly. You might not have good luck on weekends or holidays, or evenings. So yeah, here we go. So I promised a better vantage point of the falls. Again, I don't have an ND filter, so some of the highlights might be washed out. Again, forgive the labored breathing. There's an offshoot of the trailhead uphill, so not interested. Pretty cool. Lewis River Falls, Lower Falls, Lewis River. Okay, it's awesome stuff. Awesome sauce. Lower Falls Trailhead. Well, that's what that is. Onward. Here we go. These falls are insane to look at. That is a massive amount of water. Again, these are the lower falls. I imagine there are 2 more waterfalls upriver there to the north. I'm told by some fellow campers that there are some 20 miles of connected trails around here, so for those of you trail seekers, this is the place to be, I suppose. It's past the falls. Found this little gem of a spot. Sign was posted saying that there's no fishing till the first Saturday of June. Otherwise, I suppose this is evidently a great spot for rainbow trout. This place is nice. There's ample river to people ratio that you don't necessarily have to encounter anyone other than a brief passerby on the trail. But this would be a nice place to prop up and read a book or throw a line in the water there. And pretty luxurious trail system here. lots of little offshoot type trails. And the main, wait a minute, did I get lost? Maybe I did. Anyways, I'll head south a little bit longer and eventually go north and try to find those other two waterfalls. So I'm getting further away from the river down there. It's pretty far down this cliff, and it is a steep cliff. That's south, back towards the lower falls camp, and trail's getting sporty here. So I happened upon this neat little babbling brook. Holy smokes, that is what's called a there's basically no ground beneath me right now. I'm a little unsettled by this. I've been going for some 20 minutes or so north of my camp. Don't really have any idea as to where I am aside from the relationship to my camp. That's where I was just standing. And yeah, if I don't find the river falls, the middle or upper, here in 10 more minutes, I'm just gonna head back south. So that's that. Here we go. Evidently about 5 or 10 minutes north of me, and I'm estimated 25-minute walk north of Lower Falls, maybe half-hour walk. The trail is washed out up here somewhere, and so there is a diverging trail up into the bush there, and I don't really have enthusiasm for that. And so for those of you seeking the upper falls, which I believe is what they were referencing, I would say come energized and early. This trail is pretty cool. Anyways, it's nice. I've only encountered a few groups of hikers here in half an hour, so it's pretty neat. I'll give it a minute or two and then head back to camp. And that is the Lewis River hiking trail. Cheers. So evidently either I missed this sign on my way up towards the upper falls, or I'm on a different trail. The middle falls are half a mile north of here. Upper falls 1.25 miles, and the lower falls that way 1.25 miles. So yeah, nearly 3 miles between the falls. Good information. Not sure where that goes, but I'm headed back south to my camp there in the lower falls. Okay, I got a pretty decent log there, 3 feet maybe. Going to clean it up and whittle off some tinder and get rid of all this wet skin. I've begun the process of whittling down this log for a mix of kindling and hopefully some medium-sized pieces, and then I should have the log down to a manageable size at some point. Here I was caterwailing earlier, not having a wedge, when in fact I do have a wedge. I'll be able to split this log with my little baby hatchet after all. Back to the workbench. Oh boy. I almost kneecapped myself. Okay. Throwing these two little gems, those two little gems in my saddlebags one of the best ideas I've had for moto camping. Beautiful day. Sun's kind of out. It was supposed to rain all weekend, but it isn't thus far. Sun shines on a dog's ass some days. Okay, doing a little meal prep. I got finally got a fire going. Corn on the cob there. I don't know how that's going to do. I should have left it in the shuck there. And this fire is delicate, to say the least. It just wants to go out all the time. This is about as luxurious as I've ever had it. And yeah, so campfire meal, hobo type they call it. This is I don't really have, the rocks aren't too hot yet, and I'm ambitious and anxious to cook the steak as it is. So these are nice, aromatic. That should suffice, eh? Some kind of fancy salt here. Let's try to get this thing heated up. I'm just going to place it right over the fire and see how that works out, because that's doing pretty well for my bacon here. Of course, the fire goes out every 10 seconds, more or less. Wow, those are cooking pretty well. Potatoes soft. It's not working out too bad. Corn on the cob, soft, softer than I thought. I'll get some more butter. This is not a very graceful means of doing business here, but look at that. Corn on the cob. It's actually cooking quite well. So I'm gonna wrap that up, fix things up, and be ready for supper. Fortunately, this grate is helping me out a little bit to even out the heat, but it's worth noting that I am half an idiot, so I've been struggling to keep this fire just going. It's either full-on bonfire, as if I'm about to sacrifice something, a loved one perhaps, or just barely clinging onto life. It's like me on a Friday afternoon. So yeah, just something to consider. My corn will likely be half burnt, half cooked, ouch, as my biscuits were this morning, as my taters will likely be. But motherfucker, by the way, fire's hot. Also, you probably don't want to store hot things next to gasoline, so put this over here next to my empties. And yeah, this is camping. This is camping in the let's go with whiskey here. By the way, excellent excellent bourbon. Apropos, oh boy, my taters are burning again. Yeah, this mess of potatoes here. Let's get that over there. Steer the ship. And yeah, so I've already lost quite a bit of arm here today, goofing off around the fire. So don't be like me, boys and girls. Don't do goofy things. It should be a good meal, or a terrible meal, or something in between. Okay, that, ladies and germs, is steak, probably medium well. Yeah, medium well, not too bad. Steak, potatoes, mushrooms, squash, all the rest of it. Yeah, this is actually more legit than I expected. Even more rewarding because it was so, I don't know, different to do. I'm not going to eat this with the camera on because it's going to be a buttery mess. So there you have it, Camping 101. Heavy duty aluminum foil, heavy duty aluminum foil. It still has holes in it, which is probably be okay. Rock and roll. I'm going to finish and watch the fire burn. All right, thanks for watching. I'll give you a few takeaways from my experience there at the Lewis River Falls Campground. In the meantime, enjoy some video footage I've compiled for you of the Wind River Highway, Curly Creek Road, as well as, I believe, Forest Road 30 between Carson, Washington and Lewis River Falls. So there were no posted bear signs, no bear poles, bear storage lockers, anything of the sort. So I inferred from that bears are not a serious concern there, although you never know. There were bathrooms on site, no running water that I recall, unless you count, of course, the Big Fat River adjacent to the campground. There are two campgrounds there, upper and lower falls. The upper falls were first come, first serve, so be cognizant of that. And yeah, overall it was a great experience. There are ample hiking trails in the area, and so for the avid hikers, there's quite a bit to do there. There's fishing as well. I've read rainbow trout is what people go after there. However, the posted signs read that the fishing season wasn't open until the first Saturday in June. This footage was taken sometime before then. So yeah, overall it's a great place to go. I highly recommend it. I believe it was less than a 2-hour ride from Portland, Oregon, more or less. And some things to be cognizant of: the road conditions are not the greatest, but as you can see, there's ample pavement for the duration of the trip, with the exception of about a half mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile, right about 2 miles before one gets to Lewis River Falls. There was unpaved road, and it was a little sketchy, but I was able to do it in my Scout just fine. So just be cognizant of that. Take as many precautions as you can. I personally keep a tire patch kit on me at all times when I'm out here in this kind of quasi-remote area. So again, thanks for watching, and enjoy some of this video footage, and I'll see you right here next time on Northwest Quest Moto.